In this video, I'm going to show you how to do a word study of a Hebrew word using free software tools. Your goal is to have a spreadsheet that includes your scripture references and the text from Hebrew as well as perhaps an English translation, just to make it easy for you to analyze. So when you go to the stepbible.org, usually it will have an English translation such as the ESV pop up at first. Now we can either go from the English or we can go from the Hebrew. Just so you know where to find Hebrew, you can see where the ESV is in the upper left corner. You click the down arrow and you click on Ancient and scroll down to Hebrew Old Testament, and you can use the OHB, it's called the Open Scriptures Hebrew Bible. And you might want to update the display order so that the Hebrew comes on the top. So we'll click on that, and now we have some verses. Now I want to look for, in 1 Samuel 2, verse 1, you have the word horn, Karen. Now I can find it in English right here, and then it highlights in Hebrew. So if I click on the Hebrew word, it will then show me on this right side a word analysis. And these are all the glosses in BDB. So if you want to just search for Hebrew, there's 75 occurrences. So we click on that 75x, and then you'll see that the search results show up here, Genesis 22:13, and so on. So I clicked to the right of that 13, and then I dragged all the way down to the bottom of the list. And then I do Command or Control V, or you can do a right click, copy. So now we have the search list. The next thing we want to do is we want to paste it into a document. Now, I suggest the easiest way to deal with this is to use Visual Studio Code, which is a programmer's text editor. It just gives us some search and replace features that will make life easier for us. So we click in, if we go to vscode.dev and you click on New File, you just click on Text File to open a new text file, and you'll see there's nothing there. So we're going to hit Control V or Command V, and that will paste our text. And let's see, we've got Genesis 22:13, Exodus 27:2. Scroll down a little bit farther, we'll see 1 Samuel 2:1. That's our text. So now we have, you'll notice there's 3 lines for every reference. You've got the reference, you've got the Open Scriptures Hebrew Bible, and then the ESV. So what we want to do is we want to do a search. So we'll click on the magnifying glass here to do a search. And it's key, it won't be checked when you first use it, but this looks like a little square with an asterisk to the right. That's for use regular expression. That will give us a more powerful search feature. So you do a \n, which gives us a new line, and then a / opening parentheses. And that will help us find all these new lines with the parentheses afterward, which gives the abbreviation of the Bible text. And what we want to do is we want to replace it with \t for a tab, and then just simply type open parentheses. And then all we want to do is we want to click to the right of that replace field, and we'll click replace all. And it's going to ask, do we want to replace 136 occurrences? Yes, so we hit replace. And now we have all of our text, all of our scripture references, all in the same line. Each verse has one line. Now, what you can do to download this file is you can just press Control S or Command S, depending on your system, and it will download a text file. You could also do, let's see. You go on the left-hand side with the 3 lines, File, Save, and you could save it and it'll download it. So now we have a file on our computer that we want to then turn into a spreadsheet with every reference on a different row, but different columns for each text. So I'm going to go into Google Drive. I'm going to click New, and I'm going to click Google Sheets. And we'll just click on that, and it'll open a spreadsheet. Now I'll give it a name, so we're going to call this Karen search results. Then we click File, Import. Now we're going to have to upload our file, so we're going to browse until we find that file. I click Open, and it's going to upload the file, and now we have to make a decision. Do we want to insert or replace? So we're going to go ahead and replace the spreadsheet because there was nothing in that file that we created yet. And then we're going to choose for a separator type, we're going to choose Tab. And then we're going to click Import Data. And Google will import the data. Now you'll see you got your references along the A column. The B and C column have our two texts. So I'm going to select both columns, and I'm going to make them larger. Then I'm going to click on the upper left corner of this spreadsheet, and I'm going to set the text wrapping so that it wraps so we can see all of the text in each cell. And then I always like it to be from the top of the cell. You might want to, for example, make the references bold to make them easier to see, and you might want to change the font for the Hebrew to make it easier to read. Now I think that Noto Serif Hebrew should be in there already, so we click on Noto Serif Hebrew. And honestly, these are a little bit small, so I'm going to select both columns, and I'm going to make it bigger, easier to read. And there you have it. Now probably we want to have a heading at the top, so we click on the first row, and then we hit insert one row above with the right click. Then we can call it reference, open scripture, open OHB, and ESV. And then what we can do is there's a way to freeze the top row so that we always see that top row. No matter where we are in the document, we still see that. So you just select that row, go to View, Freeze, one row. And just to be sure, if you want to freeze the first column to make sure that in case you go like this and lose your reference, you can still see it. So that's how you do it. Then what you can do in order to start analyzing, let's say you create a list of categories of occurrences, and we should make all of this the same font. So let's call this Calibri. Oh, that's not a good choice. We'll choose Arial. We'll make it middle aligned, and we'll make it 18-point font just to, oh, that didn't work. All right, let's see, we'll put it 16. Let's make that categories column a little bit bigger. And then you can start analyzing. So in the first case, it's a ram's horn, so you can do horn. Actually, let's do animal horn. The next one concerns the altar in Exodus 27, so we can call it altar horn. And then the third one is also an altar horn, and there's a bunch, of course, going through Exodus. So we just type AL, and then Google starts bringing up altar horn, and you can just keep on going until you get to the end of your text. And then you can start grouping them together. So let's see. We misspelled horn, so let's fix that. We can select the whole spreadsheet, And let's say we want to sort it by, let's go down here and find something. Actually, no, before we do this, we should add an order so we can keep canonical order. We'll insert one column to the left. And then we do 1, 2, select them both, and then click on that circle there and drag it down until we get to the end. And that will give us an order number for each text, so we can reorder it later on. So let's say we go down here and let's find another one. In this case, I don't know where the horn is there. There it is. So it's very different. Let's go with this altar because we already have this category. So altar horn. That's in Jeremiah 17:1. Let's go down a little bit farther. Let's look in a psalm. Exalted my horn like that of the wild ox. So now here's an interesting mix of an animal horn and then a metaphorical usage of an animal horn. So we have to decide how we're going to treat that, but let's call it a metaphorical horn. And then let's go down a little bit more in Daniel. There's a horn. This looks like an animal horn, like one of the beasts in Daniel. So we'll just call it that. Now we can sort that, and we click on the whole spreadsheet, click data, sort sheet, and now we gotta use advanced range sorting options. When we choose data has header row, so we want to sort it by categories, A to Z, click sort. And when we go back up to the top, we should see our altar horn, 3 of them, animal horn, 2 of them, metaphorical horn, there's 1. And so as you go and classify, you can do that. And then you can, let's click it again. Let's say we want to make sure it shows up in canonical order. So we click sort range, advanced range sorting, has a header row, we've got to do it again. So we do the categories first, and then we do the order. So that'll give us a canonical order within the various topics. There you go. That's how you do it.